And we are live. Hey everyone, this is Vampyreq. Welcome to my stream, and today I'm going to talk about critiquing 3D animations. So the topic for today would be 3 of Blizzard's StarCraft 2 cinematics. First you have Wings of Liberty, second you have Heart of the Swarm, and lastly you have Legacy of the Void. So I'll try to cover the 3 of them in 1 hour. I think is possible because these cinematics are rather short in nature, so there isn't a lot to go through. But the thing about these 3 cinematics is you realize as you go through the 3 of them, you get more and more issues towards the end as the cinematics become more recent. And right now, without further ado, I'm gonna start. So what's gonna happen is I will play the cinematic once you have a run through. I will increase the Windows audio volume for myself because my audio setting is currently balanced for streaming and not for watching. So I'll increase my Windows volume and I'll mute myself and I'll remove my webcam so you can have a full view of the cinematic as well. So just give me a while. Let me increase the volume. I think 60 should be fine. Last I remember, do let me know in chat as well if you're having issues. And there is a little bit of stream delay, much more than usual tonight, so I won't be able to respond in real time, but it's quite real time. Probably give me about 10-20 seconds. That's about the delay that we should have. Then I'm gonna mute myself and
combat suit sealed and locked.
You'll carry your prison with you. That armor will be your new cell. Make no mistake. War is coming. With all its glory. And all its horror. Mr. Findlay, your freedom awaits.
Hell, it's about time.
So hey everybody, I got alerted that there's no sound pathway into the stream. So what I'm gonna do is I will replay from the beginning to where I think the sound started for you guys. Let me see, probably around 2:35. Then I'm gonna stop the video again. So to come back into the critiquing. Otherwise, without sound, it's not such a enjoyable watching experience for you guys. So I'm going to disappear again. I'm going to replay the video for you guys.
They say a man never really knows himself. Until his freedom's been taken away. I wonder, how well do you know yourself?
Prisoners, step forward onto the platform.
Convict 626. Murderer. Pirate. Traitor. Today, you go free. But, as you'll soon learn, even freedom has a price.
Combat suit sealed and locked.
You'll carry your prison with you. That armor will be your new cell. They say a man never really knows himself. Until his freedom's been taken away.
A lot of technical issues, man. So guys, I'm just gonna repeat what I say, that right now we're gonna move into the critiquing portion of this stream. So these cinematics are released by Blizzard, big company. They're gonna churn out top-notch animations. So don't expect a lot of detail mistakes, but when it comes to critiquing, there always will be certain things that you can actually pick up. Critiquing, but critiquing is not just about finding faults, it's also about finding good points and raising it to the animator. So what we're going to do now is to watch the cinematic part by part, and in terms of critiquing, there will be a lot of scrubbing, going back and forth, frame by frame. This is what animators do. So let's just play.
Never really knows himself.
This is an establishing shot, opening scene, sets the tone, but you don't really know what's going on. Probably some kind of a lab, and this just looks weird. You don't know what the heck this is.
I wonder, how well do you know yourself?
Over here you see very good anticipation. I'm also going to be talking about animation principles. That's 12, but I'm not going to really touch on all 12 in depth. So when you look at the handle over here, you see it move a little bit before it actually goes the full motion. Whoops.
How well do you know yourself?
Yeah, so you can feel that probably is something very heavy that is being unlocked, and once it breaks past the point of maximum resistance, the whole thing goes through again. Now this is another good shot. You have blackness after the door opens, but yet you still can see something in it. Is it a human? Is it an animal or whatever? It just clues to you that there is something in there, and it draws your attention instead of you like looking around at things that don't make sense, like probably this thing over here. Maybe you're looking at dislikes, but they want you to be looking over here. And also another thing is they're placing this right in the middle of the screen, so the human eye is drawn towards the center of a picture most of the time. I would say 90% of the time. And with this hint of glint over here, it really tells the viewer that there is something in there that is going to pop out.
Prisoner, step forward onto the platform.
Audio cue, prisoner. It tells you this is a prison of sorts. Otherwise, it could be some medical laboratory for all you know. Very good work on the chains. And Blizzard always has very impeccable timing in terms of presenting their title. So they vault, the door shuts close into blackness, and then the title comes out. It's also a very good time to cut the scene to the next scene. Now he steps into the whatever this foot thing is, and over here the Blizzard animators, they actually are doing something called, in my own terms, I don't remember the official term already, is something about offset, timing offset. You don't want things to happen both at the same time. So if you were to look at the these machinery things, they pop out at different timings, slightly different timings. The one in the foreground will come up first, then the one in the background. Whoa. What happened? So we just play that again. Do you see that? Now I'm gonna go frame by frame backwards. My internet connection is not very strong, so do expect buffering from time to time. Okay, the one in the foreground comes up for 2 frames, 3 frames, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the one in the background comes out. You guys see it? This is a general animation principle that you want to obey to keep your scene from not looking too boring, because things happen at the same time. But in terms of this scene, I'm actually fine if Blizzard didn't actually obey this rule, because you're talking about machines here. They're supposed to be able to do things at the same time with very strict adherence to timing. So whether or not Blizzard obeys that rule or principle is fine by me. I would very much prefer them not obey because it's machinery, but it's still fine. It doesn't affect the animation. Again, the timing offset. Look at the one in the foreground and the one in the background. Can you guys see my cursor? Oh, it's black, so I need to draw it out. So look at this shackle thing in the foreground and the background. The thing is, every time I exit a tool, I have to do the full screen thing again. So I'm just gonna go back. You guys see that? The one in the foreground locks onto him first before the background does it. And in terms of the release, it will do the same thing as well. So this is the timing principle of animation. Foreground goes down before the background goes down. Now over here is the first major critique I have, something that I don't really like about this the previous scene actually. So the reason why I want to show this first is to bring up the impact on me. So on the screen right now, you read the words cryogenic and then status active, but you hear the announcer Arcturus Minx, the character speaking to this guy Tychus, you go free. And how do you reconcile going free with cryogenic active? It doesn't make sense. Cryogenic means freezing, so is he gonna go free by being frozen? The clue comes from the previous scene over here. Where it's actually listing out the information of this convict, Tychus Findlay. On the middle of the screen over here, Blizzard places the key thing that they want you to read. Fine, no parole, current status solitary cryogenic. Oh, so that's where cryogenic comes from. Terran Marine military status, later it becomes active over here. But then on the rest of the screen, there's a lot of other, I will call junk detail, like over here. Medical records, medical history, surgical history, all this nonsense, and then, wait, there's nothing over here? Then why are you putting that for? When I first saw this scene, the rest of the stuff grabbed my attention so much I didn't actually pay attention to the information here, the important bit of here. I went to read all this stuff, and then when it comes to the scene over here, I got completely confused. I don't know what the heck, why is it cryogenic active? So I think over in this scene, what should have been better is probably over here you can do like a heart rate monitor, do a BPM, maybe some pulse nonsense over here, and this I don't know, you can even put some lorem ipsum text, and I don't think anybody will give a crap about this. But the thing is just that, you see, you can have an empty screen over here. Why not just make this empty as well, Blizzard? So this is something that I would have done differently if it was me animating this thing. Asynchrony, the right side grab his left arm first, and they move a different time. Blizzard obeying the principle down to the precise point. Stuff coming up the wall at different timing as well. The back armor goes in his body first before the front. And over here is important that you keep, when you're animating a human being, never ever keep the guy still, because the human body cannot hold still without moving. One of the major reasons is you have a heartbeat. When your blood pumps, it moves you. Secondly, you have your muscles, which need to contract and I forgot the other word, expand, release, to a different varying degree to actually release tension here and there. So a human body can never keep still. Now, if you look at the different parts of Tychus over here, you can see that his body is moving all the time. His shoulder over here is moving, his head is moving, his jaw here is moving. You can see he's never still, and his entire body is moving, even though he's like being held in the position by the machinery. His arms here are moving, arms still moving, fingers moving. Over here would be these fingers moving would be what I call anticipation. So it clues the viewer that something is going to happen in that area, and it also gives me the feeling that perhaps Tychus is very eager to want to get into that glove thing that is coming up to him. So you see, the shot starts with his fingers here, and then his fingers move as the screw thing on the right moves away, and then the gloves come into position. Nothing to comment, it's very good. Now this is what I want to comment. Very good clenching of the fist. Normally when somebody feels a surge of power, they will tend to clench the fist from the pinky upwards, which is what Tychus does here. It's like, yes, I'm getting my freedom, put me up in this suit. And then he releases again. So you may think that this is kind of exaggerated. It doesn't happen in real life. Actually, it does all the time. Even if you were to have your open hand like this, and then you close it, you will see that the fingers move all at different times. For my left hand, I nail it down. I will normally close these two first before my finger and then my pinky. That is normally how I close my left hand. And for my right hand, I totally obey this thing. You can try it yourself, like relax your hand, watch yourself, clench it. Don't clench it too fast because you cannot catch it. Your eye is not that fast. You can do it something slow, like half a second. You will see your fingers actually all move in different times, even though you think you're moving all at once. So very good detail on Blizzard's part over here, which of course is basic to animators. Man, feel the weight of how those thing slams the shoulder pads into the marine suit. Look at how Tychus is just like pushed down to the left and then down to the right again. Boom, boom.
Combat suit sealed and locked.
You'll carry your prison.
And his body keeps moving. Tychus just keep moving. You can see that there's different small movements here and there.
Make no mistake. War is coming. With all its glory.
Many cut shots from prior to this, which gives anticipation to the viewer of something that is going to happen in the future. Near future, far future, we don't know, but it's going to happen. So quick shots such as this, you have to use very sparingly because it can be very off-putting, for lack of a better word. That if you have too much of it, it's just like, And over here, Tychus shouldering his weapon. Feel the weight of the gun. So this is obeying another principle. As the gun goes up, it sort of like hold in the air for a while because of the force of you lifting it up, the gun, and then as he grabs it, it drops, and it continues dropping down, which is the follow through action, and it comes back up again. So it's like, It shows weight. Now the thing about 3D animation is computer animation is everything is weightless. How do you show weight? That comes in the 12 animation principles. You show weight by timing, majorly by follow through and overlapping action, and secondly by timing. So I cannot really pinpoint the principles anymore because it's so ingrained in me. It's very second nature to me to know what makes good animation. So if you wanted me to actually say in terms of principles, like naming them, it's a little bit difficult for me. And before I play the scene again, the cinematic, notice how Tiger is always moving. His fingers, you will notice, are moving. His shoulders, his entire body, all will be moving as you continue watching the animation.
And all its horror. Mr. Findlay, your freedom awaits.
Can you see how heavy this suit is? Like how much it took Tigers to actually turn around? And as he steps to his right, boom, he leans to his right, back to his left, back to his right again, as his center of gravity balances and the shift of weight becomes neutral again. Just watch that again.
Your freedom awaits.
Oh man, nice animation. And you can see how it's affecting the visor as well, the orange part.
Your freedom awaits.
Which is look at how this thing over here pops up and down and left and right rotation as well. Again and again.
Hell,
It's about time. Black screen, final game title. Impeccable timing by Blizzard. So this is Wings of Liberty, which is the first installation of the game. So I think I've covered all the grounds over here. I watched this probably about 5 times before I did this. So judging by the time, I don't think I have the time to go into Legacy of the Void. But in Wings of Liberty is the one where you can find the least fault. In Heart of the Swarm, slightly a little bit more. We'll take a look in that. So I seem to be taking half an hour per cinematic, so I think I will have to leave Legacy of the Void to the next installation. So likewise again, I will be disappearing from the scene. I think 60 is fine, nobody complained, so I'm happy. Setting Windows volume at 60. I'm gonna mute myself and disappear and play the cinematic.
Armies will be shattered. Worlds will burn. shall be mine. For I am the queen of blades.
And we're back. Did you guys notice any oddities? Probably not, because it takes training to actually spot all of this weird stuff going on with the cinematics. But the thing is, the fault in Heart of the Swarm is much more forgivable. But when it comes to Legacy of the Void, you see a lot of tricks that normal people don't catch, but animators surely will catch it. So again, we're gonna go through. Let's just skip this thing. Establishing shot, opening scene to clue the viewer into what we're looking at, and the palette of grey sets the tone of bleakness, darkness, which essentially what this game is about, Heart of the Swarm. And then you have the airplanes coming in. If you're looking at the water vapor going upwards on the windscreen, it's legit. Okay, there is gravity, yes, it should go down, but when you're flying at high speeds, water actually goes up against the windscreen. And if you have observed before, if you're going fast enough in a car, even when it's raining, you will notice water droplets going upwards. So water don't always go down on glass, alright? So this is completely legit stuff. Boom, boom, boom. So when we talk about palette, like everything you see now is gray, but once the bombs land, boom, all this orange and yellow and the smoke, it gives a lot of oomph to the color, to the explosion. So that's something that you want to introduce in your cinematic as well, animations, which is contrast via colors as well. So this, the bleakness, the darkness of the palette makes the explosion pop, and it just gives a lot more power to the explosion stuff that you see over here.
I am the swarm.
So again, this is a living organism, so you will see that the tendrils or whatever you call this connective stuff, they are moving all the time.
I am the swarm. Armies will be shattered. Worlds will burn.
So cut short, it makes sense over here because you have one from the perspective of this drop pod, and second from the perspective of the Marines, the Terran on the ground, seeing the incoming. So the viewer's brain automatically connects the two scenes together, that there is a time lapse in between that is not shown, it's just a jump cut. But there, I've also seen animations that does this sort of jump cuts very badly, and it just doesn't make sense of how something can travel to another place via a cut. So this one is done very well. It's very difficult for me to actually come up with the words to explain what makes this work and what makes the other animations not work. So let's just leave it that Blizzard did a good job over here. From the Leviathan, it shoots this drop pod down, gravity assist The next shot from the bottom up, you see them coming down. Good shot over here. And smoke cover, a good transition scene, just like how we see in the first iteration of the cinematic with Tychus, the vault closing and then the title coming out and then cutting to the shackle removal. And over here, if you notice that the location of this is a little bit different, even though it should be the same scene, the same location, but actually there's a small change. Let's play again. Notice where the these two Marines are. Drop pods hit the ground. From this you can tell it's not very far from them, probably 10 meters away maximum. And yet over here you can see the location change. How do I know? How do I know? By the background. Okay, notice here, the Marines are standing near something very circular. There is a circular structure behind them. Alright? And then you watch as they come up to the drop pod. Oops. Yikes, went too far. Where is that thing now? Where is that circular thing behind this Marine? It's not directly behind him, so because I would expect him to take some steps forward to where the drop pod landed. But if you look around, there is no such structure we see before. Location change. But very forgivable because it's not very apparent. I had to watch this a few times before I caught it. Very good with the muzzle fire. If you actually slow it down and play frame by frame, not so much in this scene but in the upcoming one. When it comes to gunfire, muzzle flashes, you don't want them to all be the same. Even in real life, not all shots generate muzzle flash. And the muzzle flash generated will be slightly different in nature, some bigger, some smaller. So just watch this one. This is quite a big one. Next shot, a little bit smaller. Next shot, whoa, this is even smaller but wider. This is big and long. Slightly smaller. Very much more apparent in this scene. A very big and long one, about the same size, slightly smaller. Okay, same size. And whoa, what's this? So small. And bang, back to a big one, and then a smaller one. So when you play it in real time, it looks a lot more catching. It looks more nice, for lack of a better word. Yeah, you see that? Transition scene using the hydraulic. So for the siege tank, the muzzle flash is quite consistent. This one is very forgivable because the siege tank fires slowly. Is bum, bum, bum. So you can have the muzzle flash in the same size, the same brightness, intensity. For every shot, and it's fine. But if you're talking about machine gun fire, that's a different story. You want variation within. The ultralight storms on the siege tank. Nice. Walks. Excellent detail over here. When the Vikings start firing, is Gatling gun, or is it Gatling cannon? I forgot what the weapon name is called. So you see that the barrel initially is cold, is black, and then it gets red hot. Wow. It gets red hot over here. So it's very good attention to detail. But personally for me, I think it got hot a little too quick. Just a little too quick. because really barrels don't get that hot so quickly. But I guess it's because they don't have a lot of time. Blizzard don't have a lot of time in this animation to let the barrel get hot, so they choose to let it get hot very quickly, which is fine, acceptable in this context. And if you're asking why is it that only one plane landed and not all three that flew by, is because there are two different types of aircraft. The first one that you see here, this pair, they are Banshees, identifiable by their, I forgot what this propeller thing technology is called, Orca style propeller that fires vertically. So according to the game, these Banshees, they cannot transform, they cannot change between land and air form. But the one behind, the Viking, is the one that can transform. So here you go, it transforms. So again, transition scene using a big object in your face to obscure vision and then move. It's a very tried and old technique that works all the time. Zoom in for the viewer to see what's in the distance. And then you have the siege tanks. Boom! Again, offset, timing offset. Look at the smoke, the hydraulic gas that comes out of the support legs, front and back. Whoops. Nothing much to say here, it's good stuff. All the Zerglings flying. Bang! That one is a good shot. Bang! It's like the animators actually show how strong the Ultralisk is, that it can withstand a shell from the siege tank. And you see it actually like push it to the right, boom, and then it's like stops there for a while before it recovers and like it doesn't give a shit and start walking forward again. Nidus worm breaks up from the ground. And over here, I will raise the volume. This is actually, there's a tribute to a death scream found in movies. It's called the Wilhelm scream. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Wilhelm. Wilhelm. If you listen to that. Can you hear that? Ah! Yeah, if you look at, watch previous movies, I think there is one in Star Wars. I forgot who, he got fling off something. There is this scream. This scream is used in a lot of movies, and I think Blizzard is paying homage to that.
Now at last.
The statue of Arcturus Minx falls? But why? Let me pose the question again. Why did this statue fall? Let's go back further in time. Why? Why did the statue fall? That's my critique. That's my question. When I saw this scene, first saw it, I was like, wait, why did the statue fall? And as I watched it over and over and over again, maybe the reason is because of the Nidus worm. If you look over here, there is something that goes up and then comes back down. Just give you a moment, let me find it. Yeah, just keep watch at the right side of the statue. screen left, right of the statue screen left. Yeah, you see something falling down? That's my only reconciliation that I can make. The Nidus worm pops up of the ground, which you saw over here, which is behind the firing line, behind the Marines, and over here in the scene of Arthurus Minx falling down, you can see the Marine line is over here. This is the firing line. So, taking clue from the previous scene, the Nidus worm comes up from behind the Marine, and the firing line is here, facing this direction, meaning the Nidus worm must have popped up here. And that, by some reason, caused this to fall. Plausible? It's plausible, but there's one improvement that I can make to this scene. So it took me a while to figure out that this might, keyword might, be a Nidus worm. So why not in this scene pop one up let me pop one up over here, so the viewer can actually establish that this thing and this thing is the same. Then I will be able to make the connection that it's the Nidus worm coming up from the ground, maybe disrupting the foundation or something, and then causing the statue to fall. That will make the reason for this statue falling a little bit stronger, more compelling. And as we play on, I want you to look at the statue falling. Just look at its entirety.
Now at last. Now at last. Now at last. Now at last.
Now, if you don't know what I'm looking out for, let me tell you now. It's a statue, correct? Solid statue. Solid statue. Now, if you look, I'm going to highlight. Focus your eyes around these so-called the ropes of the statue. You will notice something very odd and peculiar about it as the statue falls.
Now at last. On this. Now at last. On this. Now at last. On this. Now at last.
Do you guys see it? It's a statue, but why are the ropes behaving like cloth? I don't know.
Now at last. On this one. Now at last. On this.
That's the mystery that I can never reconcile. I don't have an idea of why that thing would behave like cloth. But the good thing about the statue falling is, notice how heavy it is. Boom.
On this one.
Boom.
On this.
So you see it, it falls, and then once it touches the ground a little bit, boom, it just drops like crazy, Because as the hand over here contacts the ground and it gives way, all of the weight from the top just falls down in that 1 second or something. So watch it again.
At last.
Boom.
On this world.
Very well done.
Vengeance shall be mine.
There is no obvious reason why the battle cruiser is falling, but it doesn't matter. I'm fine with the battle cruiser falling out of the sky in this scene without explanation. It's really fine, because the cinematic already establishes the apocalyptic nature of this environment. So that means the Zerg, all these creatures that you see, they're able to do whatever they want, basically like destroy things. They can even make a statue turn to cloth. So yeah, a reactor explosion, nice transition with Zerglings running in the foreground.
For I am the queen of the lake.
Metal statue, I don't know, man. Before non-StarCraft 2 players bash this scene, it is a dream. Yes, it's a dream, but it's much more than a dream. It's actually foreshadowing. Only players will know. So this girl, Kerrigan, that you see in this form, human form, she eventually became this. Yeah, so like waking up from a nightmare, checking your surroundings, nothing to critique over there, is good. Then the title of the game comes up at the end. To the comment saying that it's maybe it's a metal statue, sheet metal, I don't think that is a very sufficient explanation. But because if you look at it, you can actually see the cloth actually like sliding around this thing, and then when the statue hits the floor, you actually see this thing fold really like cloth. Now if we play it again,
Now at last, on this world,
yeah, look at that.
this world, on this world, on this world, on now at last, on this world.
And you see how it settles this area. It will sort of like settle down to gravity.
This world,
Whoops.
on this world, on this world, on this world.
Yeah, so to me it feels more like cloth than sheet metal. So I don't know the material sheet metal very well, but as an animator, this looks more like cloth than metal to me. Like, because you expect metal to be no doubt pliable, but not that pliable to like curve around a corner and then to fold down according to gravity. So this is the only thing that I cannot reconcile. Like, why the heck is the statue behaving like a cloth at the bottom? Maybe it's some high-tech statue where they can emulate cloth with the ropes. So yeah, it's coming to 9 o'clock already. We have 6 minutes remaining. So as I projected correctly, I don't have time to go through the third cinematic for StarCraft 2. So I'll be doing that next week. And then probably one from the Overwatch universe from Blizzard, because Overwatch has quite a lot of cinematic by Blizzard that I can go through. So on Monday nights will be my animation critique, pointing out weird stuff, good stuff from animations. So if you have suggestions for me to critique, do feel free to post it to me. But otherwise, if you want a fun, crazy stream, like kind of like bullshit stream, that will be on Sunday yesterday. So take the time about 36 hours ago. So in GMT plus 8 Singapore time, that'll be Sunday 8 a.m. and then Monday 8 p.m. 5 minutes remaining. If you would like to chat or ask questions about anything, post it in the comments and I will be able to reply live. But otherwise, in 5 minutes, I will end the stream. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I can see there's about 6 viewers. Don't know who you are. Roughly know some of you, but maybe some of you are coming from the internet to where I broadcasted on another platform. Thank you for tuning in and hope you guys gain some educational insights into 3D animation. Subscribe to see more. That's the important thing. Share with your friends that there's this crazy guy critiquing animations from big companies. Like I said, even though it's from Blizzard, there'll always be strange things that you can point out, like even to the likes of like Pixar, Blur. There will be things that you can point out as a learning point, improving point, whatever. And yeah, it's really nice to be able to go through all this and refresh my knowledge in the animation principles as well. There's 12 of them. So you have first one is stretch and squash, which you don't really see in any of this. Maybe in the Viking landing you do. Oh wait, there's the legacy of the void. You do see the first principles, stretch and squash over here. Not so much of a squash because you're talking about machinery, but you can see, let me enter full screen, that as the Viking lands, here it has touched ground for about 3 or 4 frames already, and then it squashes down just that little bit because of and before it stands up a little bit more. Yeah, now you can see the gap. This gap is actually widening. That's the recovery. So initially when it landed, it squashed a little bit. Because it's machinery, it doesn't squash as much as a human or a character will do. So let's just go frame by frame again. Stands up further and further and further. Yep. Yeah, so there is the first principle, stretch and squash over here. Then you have timing. You have one principle that is just pointless for viewers. It's only applicable to animators. It's called a straight ahead or post to post. That is more in terms of production. Right now we're looking post-production already, so not so much to talk about. Yeah, so I don't really have much to say anymore. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream with me going through the critiquing of the animations. My apologies for the rough start, technical audio issues, or just like making mistakes here and there, like muting the wrong thing. So thank the persons who alerted me to the audio issues, and subscribe to see more, share with your friends so I can gain traction over here as well. That's important to me. Some form of validation, otherwise I'll be like doing to empty viewership. Yeah, 20:59 right now, so we have a few, maybe 30 seconds more, and I'll just hang out until 9 p.m. and then I'm gonna shut the stream off. If there's nothing more from the comments, questions or anything, then I'm just gonna end. Hope you guys enjoy yourself. Good night. This has been Vampyreq, and I'm out.